Guys, I just finished watching the Danish Deception. I'm completely done. And I have a hot take. Well, it's not really a hot take, but this is the one instance where gossiping would have prevented a lot of this. If people would have just spoken to one another and maybe spoken about her behind her back and been like, what the hell, why is she with him? They would have all realized that he's conning all of them. This is the one instance where gossip could have actually been positive, extremely. It would have saved them a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of hurt. She has really good friends, genuinely, because no one was talking about her behind her back to each other. Guys.
Onyeka is not a girl's girl. Onyeka is not a girl's girl because in part 24 is 25 when she said, oh, they told me he was with a sex worker and she was like a 1 out of a 10 and so he's now with prostitutes. She was bringing that woman down. She was bringing that woman down. You do not bring another woman down, not especially for a deadbeat like that man. You do not do that. So she's still in love with that man and she is upset. That's why she is trying to be like, oh, you can never find better. Oh, they said the girl you saw with after me looked like a sex worker and she's a 1 out of 10. Ha 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 ha. That's not a girl's girl. That is not a girl's girl. This girl has been a pick-me from day one. A pick-me from day one because... Explain to me how, in what century do you meet a man at a bar or it was a restaurant or whatever and you guys have a conversation and he does not ask for your number or nothing and it's like, okay, bye. And then you carried your 2 legs like praying mantis and you go and give him your Instagram for him to put his Instagram so you could follow him. And then you all were communicating through Instagram and not even through your number. That is giving pick me, choose me, take me. That is why she was so happy to tell him, oh, I have 2 jobs. I make my own money. I am not like one of these girls. I am different. Pick me. I am homely. I will give you a home. I will take care of you. What kind of embarrass? Like, and then, oh, it's coming to me. People are like, oh, he must have been really charismatic for him to scam, all of his family, all of her family and friends. No. The friends are pick-me and the family are pick-me's just like her because it was all about the status. It's all about the status. This girl is from Nigeria. Do you know how hard it is to take money from a Nigerian man's hand, talk less an Igbo man, and they openly gave it like that? It's because they were like, they wanted the closest proximity to royalty and he was it. And so they were so blinded by the fact that, oh my goodness, he is British royalty. He is this. We are going to be like, their parents wanted to be able to have bragging rights to say, our daughter married a man from Denmark or from wherever it is that it's a British royal. Come to think about it, Onyeka. You are a realtor. You are working in an accounting company or whatever it is. You want to tell me you know how to Google immigration lawyers. You know how to Google how to take care of this man's back pain. You know how to Google to find flights. But you did not know how to take those your fingers like chicken legs and Google, hey, is this person royalty? Or Google his name to find out if he is real royalty or not. You're a realtor. You mean to tell me this man sent you pictures of properties he's owned and not once, Onyeka, not once did it cross your mind to run it as a realtor, as something you do for a living. Not once, Onyeka, did you think to check if these properties actually existed or just to be curious to see what the properties are going for, especially since he was claiming he was going to sell them for lower than what they cost. Onyeka, you did not. Number whatever I'm on. How did this man have access to all of your friends? Like how? Like for my man, none of my friends have access to that man because why are you having access to him? Why? So how did he go so far that they all had his numbers and he had their numbers to the point where he is taking money from them and telling them not to tell you, and they are all comfortable not to tell you? Because if my sister's man ever calls me and tells me, hey girl, Augusta, can you borrow me $5,000? I want to buy Mimi a watch, but don't tell her. And she hangs up, boop, the next person I'm calling. Girl, not my sister, but my other sister. Guess who is about to get a Rolex watch? Who? Yeah, it's for her birthday. And then on your birthday, let me not see that Rolex watch on your arm. Let me not see that Rolex watch on your arm. So I don't, like, things are not adding up. Like, am I losing it? Like, I have not been able to sleep for 3 days. Because this is the biggest embarrassment that could ever happen. This is like we have been stripped off our identities. We have no aura no more. Like, we are no longer, we can never ever say we know ball, because Onyeka, upon all the ball that I have taught you, upon all the ball that Sheila 77, Sprinkle have taught you, upon all the ball that all of these other women that come on here have taught you, Onyeka, you decide to let blonde hair, blue eye. You decide to let blonde hair, blue eye do us like they do you, in it, which means intense, put all of us in shame. All of us in shame. Blonde hair, blue eye. You were captivated by a blonde hair, blue eye. Because, and then you know what? You know what the honest truth that I'm not seeing nobody talking about? The honest truth is, right? If that was Jerome from down the street, or Olariwanju from Lagos, or Ade from Cameroon, none of them, not her, not her family, none of them would have even been able to say hello to her. None of them. It wouldn't have even got to the point of where she opens her Instagram and gives them to follow her. It would have never given that. It would have never given that. So she was just blinded by the man's looks, by the man's race, by the man's every single thing, and that is why you got scammed. Onyeka, ladies, we are supposed to be. This is why I said we have to be gold diggers, because there is no way that could have happened to a gold digger. Because gold diggers are not pygmies. You can never scam. This is why it was, Onyeka, you were supposed to be digging for the gold. You let a man from Denmark, not even a man from Monaco, you let a man from Denmark, those people that they don't have better food, you let them come and dig gold from you and your family. This goes down in the history books. Madam, we bow for you, Mal. Well done. Oh, you do well. You do well. Everybody say give grace. Honey, I will give grace to a girl's girl. I will give grace to a girl's girl. She is not a girl's girl. The moment she spoke about the sex worker, that just sealed everything I spoke about this girl. Because mind you, we don't know if that woman is a sex worker. Her and her friends assumed it was a sex worker because they wanted to talk down on her. I rest my case. Onyekachi, you do well, ma. We bow for you. Oh, well done.
She was afraid of being labeled a gold digger, and that's why she got. And until black women heal their relationship with money, I think black women will continue to get got in relationships. Let's put on our thinking caps and talk about it. As I watched the series, one of the things that I kept noticing was her emphasis on she wasn't with this man for money. She didn't want him to think that she was with him for money. And living in a capitalist society at this point, I think if we treated money like a natural resource, because at this point it's vital for our survival, that I feel like black women would feel like they are more deserving of it, they are in need of it, and it's a resource that they enjoy having and a resource that they enjoy using. And I truly think the need to convince men that we're not with them for money stems from black women being labeled gold diggers, right? Because in what other community is money not important? In what aspect of life is money not important? But whenever it comes to money in relationships, black women have this need to want to prove that it's not about the money. And I think that's part of the reason why these hypogamous, and homogamous conversations keep coming up, because black women are trying to prove that money doesn't matter to them when in fact it does.
So when he came to her to ask her to borrow $30,000 and really ask her to borrow any amount of money, she felt like she needed to, because she needed to prove that it wasn't about the money and she was willing to be a ride or die and hold her man down, despite all of the red flags by that point. And I feel like we need to get over this fear of being labeled gold diggers, because if a man views you as a gold digger, then that means he knows he needs to have gold and he needs to be willing to share that gold. Because women who are gold diggers ask for what they expect. And honestly, if money wasn't important, he wouldn't have used money as a manipulation tactic. He wouldn't have used money as a way to like love bomb her, to get her to open up and get her to soften herself. He used money as a tool to get from her what he wanted to get from her. But for some reason, as Black women, we downplay the role of money when it comes to romantic relationships. And I really want us to heal our relationship with money so that we can stop getting got.
And this is it, okay? This is it. This is why I struggle. I'm struggling. Like, I'm somebody who likes to have empathy for people. I like to hear like multiple sides of a conversation. I like to look at things holistically. Do you get what I mean? Just so that I am clear that, you know, I'm not being too one-sided with things. So I want to feel bad for her. But at the same time, when I list out all the things that she told me in her version of events, i.e., the most favorable version of events from her perspective, yeah? I just can't get past that. I can't get past that in this version, she's still acknowledging my man as someone who's addicted to gambling. And it's like, girl, aren't we past that? Like, aren't we past this whole gambling excuse? Because from my perspective, with the amount that he's lied and like with the way that he's gone out of his way to manipulate the stories and like lie, like dead in your face, like I would be scared of you. Do you get what I mean? Like, I would be scared. Like, from time I was on the phone with Crypto and Crypto's telling me, yeah, you owe me 200 bags. Excuse me? What do you mean? 200 what? Naira? Like, that would be my response. The relationship would have been done, finished, done, finito from that moment. So like, why are we still running with this whole gambling addiction? She even said out of her own mouth that he would do certain gambling trades. I don't know, what's the gambling lingo? Anyway, he would do let's call them trades. He would do certain gambling trades that didn't even make sense. So this is coming from somebody who, let's be honest, doesn't know anything about sports or gambling, right? I would assume. And they don't even make sense to her. She can't even recognize that these are stupid bets. Do you get what I mean? And another thing that gets me is the fact that like, she Googled the hotel. She Googled that 5-star hotel in Monaco. She Googled it. So she does know how Google works. She does know how to Google people. Do you get what I'm saying? She does know how to Google people. So I'm like, okay, let's say she was excited, she Googled it, yeah, cool. Then she heard that he was an Olympic athlete. Not only is he an Olympic athlete, he's an Olympian with a medal. Very, very Googleable information. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm the kind of person, yeah, that if you tell me something about you, like something that's public, like, oh, like say I meet someone and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm a YouTuber, da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna immediately go on my phone and I'm gonna look on my phone and I'm gonna like find your YouTube page and I'm going to subscribe. That's who I am. Do you get what I mean? But I understand you can't judge people based off of your own standards. But I also feel like a lot of people have these standards as well. Do you know what I mean? Another thing that gets me is that I just can't get past, okay? I can't, this is the thing that's forced, that won't allow me to like find the empathy in my heart. Do you get what I mean? Because I ultimately feel like she's lying to us, guys. I really think that we're being had here. Like, and I'll say two more things on this. She's Nigerian. She's Nigerian. And I know that like a lot of people might say like, oh, you know, she's Nigerian and she's American Nigerian, so it don't really count, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me stop you there. Let me stop you there, because they went to the village. That tells me everything I need to know about her caliber of Nigerian, okay? That tells me everything I need to know about her and her family. They went to the village. They are traditional people. You're telling me that nobody looked into this guy. You're telling me that she never had to answer, specific questions. Like, her family didn't grill her on this guy. Another thing, when she found out that crypto was owed money, my question is, why didn't she call everybody else? Why didn't she speak to her family immediately to be like, yo, did he borrow money from you? Or did this, like, that would have been a red flag. That would have been the ultimate red flag, yeah? The ultimate red flag for me. That would have been the point and the moment where she should have been like, oh, let me start rounding everybody. Let's start. Like, let me give you an example, yeah? If you watch Real Housewives, yeah, you'll get this, yeah? Do you remember, I think it was in season 2 or 3, when, I think it was Greg who owed Dwight money, right? Greg owed Dwight money. Nene caught wind of this, and immediately, she put an end to it. She gave him his money back, and she said, we can never be friends again. Do you remember that? And what made that even worse was the fact that friends discuss amongst other friends. Nene was unaware, but guess what? The circle wasn't. People knew about that discrepancy between Dwight and Greg. People knew. In fact, an amount was being discussed. So you're telling me amongst a group of friends in their town, I know Texas is huge, but I imagine their community is small, right? You're telling me amongst this group of friends, no one had discussed the fact that 200 bags is just missing and that this guy is just refusing to pay them back. And when it made its way back to her, yes, she was apologetic, but then they still kept going on trips. I'm not even imagining, I know they were first class, because I think at one point in the story, he was like, yeah, we can't go to South Africa because I only travel first class. Do you remember that? Okay, so you're telling me that this girl's taking five first class trips here and there. She's going on these fancy dinners. They're traveling back and forth to Denmark, and that friendship wasn't over. They're just kumbaya, happy friends. Be so fucking for real. Be so for real. So yeah, like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. I feel like the wool is being pulled over our eyes. I believe that we are being manipulated into feeling sorry for this woman so that we can invest in her story, so that she can then, like, launchpad her, I guess, influencing career. I don't know. The point is, I wouldn't be shocked if this was a scheme set up by Todd to come with us with the bullshit. And actually, this is all just one massive Revolut ad. Do with that what you will.
I just want to say, I am so happy that I made myself sit down to watch the full 26 part series. Because if I just went off the things that y'all were saying on this here TikTok, I would have been a damn fool. I would have been running with a narrative and a story that was 100% not true. I would have been an ignorant fucking buffoon, which thousands of you guys are, I can tell based off your fucking comments and so many people's like videos who are summarizing this story. And I want to say specifically for Black women, because I've only seen one Black guy talk about the story. Every other review I've seen about this like Danish Deception situation has been from Black women, American Black women, obviously, because it's the American story. And one, before I even go into saying my thoughts about it, Black women, y'all are really mean, like disrespectfully harsh and mean. And a lot of the things that you guys have said, the way that you guys have narrated the story is just such bullshit. Like, if you don't comprehend what happened to this girl, just say that. If you didn't watch the whole 26 part series, just say that. If you didn't go through her comments, if you didn't do the research for yourself, just say that, because you're regurgitating bullshit. First, I'm going to clear up this misconception first and foremost. I see a narrative a lot in the comment section of people basically trying to victim blame her and say, well, it's her fault because of her political views, that she follows Candace Owens, she follows Trump, she follows JD Vance, I want to say this, and I want to be very clear about this. Americans, the obsession that you guys have with people's political views is genuinely, it's toxic, and it hasn't been that way. It just started happening, I want to say, like 2016. It really started happening after Obama.
there's that. But to correct this misconception, the girl follows the POTUS account, meaning the President of the United States account. Whoever is in the office, that doesn't mean that she's following that person. She's following the fucking account. So if Biden was in that fucking office when she followed him, she was following the fucking account. Trump is not the president, so now Trump is the one on the fucking account. Same thing with the VP position. She's following the VP account, the vice presidential account on the social media platforms. She's not following JD Vance. She's following the fucking presidential and vice presidential accounts. That's number one. Number two, I also follow Candace Owens. If at this point y'all are still so blind and be like, oh my God, Candace Owens is a coon, just say you're stupid. Say you're very dumb. Say you are about as stupid as ever. Because the deep dives that Candace Owens has been doing over these past couple of months are very eye-opening. She's exposed the president's man being a man. She's exposed the whole Charlie Kirk and a bunch of conspiracies that are not conspiracies, that are actually paper trail. She's actually exposed the fact that your government doesn't give a fuck about you. It doesn't matter who's in office. She's even called out Trumpy Trump. So again, if you also have this hard on for Candace Owens, talk about she's anti-black, just say you are stupid. Just say you play emotional and identity politics. Just say you are the perfect case study for Democrats. Just say that. Say that, like, knowledge could be chasing you and you reject it. Because I don't understand. You could disagree with someone's political views, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't seek knowledge. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, this obsession that y'all have, stop it right now. If y'all don't believe me, by the way, if y'all don't believe me, I'm just going to include screenshots of Onyeka, because her name's Onyeka. I'm Nigerian, so Onyeka. Her comment section, her confirming that she doesn't align with MAGA. Here's the first one. Quick question. Why are you a Trump supporter? This is Onyeka. This comment is so funny. LOL, can confirm I am not a Trump supporter. And then this person says it. It's because you follow POTUS on Instagram, which is the account of every president that gets passed off. People have lost their minds. And then another comment. In this comment, actually, someone had put a screenshot of her Twitter account to like make people understand, like, yo, y'all gotta stop with the whole Trump thing. Like, she's very much not a MAGA person. And they were putting screenshots of her remarks during the presidential election and how she was so against, Trumpy Trump. And then someone says, well, that was 5 years ago. And this person responds, true, if she all of a sudden shifted her views, then I've been fooled and can admit error. But to see her be extremely vocal on her Twitter about being pro-choice, calling for attention to BLM, supporting LGBTQ, all during a very critical point in history, it is unreasonable to say she's not a Is it unreasonable to say she's not a hardcore maggot? And then Onyeka responds and says, don't worry, sis. There has been no shift in my views. So y'all can stop victim blaming her based off what you thought was her political views. Again, y'all folks on that side of the world, and before you come for me, what side do you align with? I don't align with any side because I believe both sides are very problematic and very stupid. Republicans got their shit. Democrats have their shit. I've been saying that. It's just that I just feel like Democrats are too emotional. They lack logic. Too fucking emotional. And y'all are showing that right now. None of y'all could even do 5-second research. I found all this shit out by going through her comment section. And I could see the girl wasn't fucking MAGA as y'all were trying to say she was. Do fucking homework. Anyway, now to get to the story. People have been trying to make it seem like, oh, he's a scammer, he's a swindler, he's a scammer. But no one talked about, like, I did not know this man had a gambling addiction until I actually sat through the entire series to listen to everything. Also, he had a very well-paying job. He was just a constant gambler. Over here thinking this situation was similar to Risa Tisa or similar to like the Tinder swindler. No, this man wasn't like just a scammer. He has an addiction, a gambling demon inside of him. And because he has one demon inside of him, that demon birthed the manipulation demon as well as the demon of lying. This man wasn't like just your run-of-the-mill scammer. He was a gambling addict. That's a very different thing. And like for me, I'm just like, people like also trying to make it like a race and like, oh, people only believed him because he's white. Hey, maybe, but you guys also leave out the part of the story where like he didn't just walk into the situation being broke. Homie was flying her out to Monaco for the first 6 months of their relationship. She didn't pay for jack shit. He's spending 2,000 euros a night on hotels, paying for hotels that are 2,000 euros, not USD, euros, which if you convert that to USD, that's around like $2,300 per night on a fucking hotel. Anytime he came to visit her, He was paying everything. She didn't lift her fucking finger. So when y'all sitting be like, oh my God, it could never be me. I would never give a man a dime. Just say you don't have a giving spirit. Because it wasn't like this man came in like trying to fake it like, oh, I ain't got no money. The papers were there. He had money. She checks his bank accounts. Money was coming in. He was just gambling it away. So when y'all sit here and be like, oh, she was so dumb to ignore the red flags, the friends were so dumb to ignore the red flags, let me tell you something. You guys just don't have a giving spirit. And I'm being so for real. People like this man, Martin, that's his name. Martin, I'm not going to say the last name because I don't speak Danish. But people like this man, dark spirits know how to flock to people with light. Point blank, period. They know how to spot you and manipulate you. Not only just that, this man did not just get off like bamboozle everyone. He also bamboozled a very successful businessman whom he had 15 business meetings with to swindle him out of 30K. This man is very likable and very intelligent in his craft of having to feed his addiction. He's an addict. You guys can understand and grapple the fact that like drug addicts would do anything to get their fix. Y'all can't seem to understand that for a gambling addict. There is no level that they won't go to scratch that itch. He took advantage of everybody in his life. This man gambled on 3 different continents: Europe, North America, and apparently in China as well. But none of y'all were speaking about this when it came to y'all reviews. None of y'all left all this out, which for me makes me feel like people that were talking about this, series, y'all didn't watch the whole thing. There's no way you guys watched the whole thing and missed this entire portion of it. The entire portion of him swindling people in China. The fact that his eldest sister, who's a cop, tried to save him from all the, shark people, the loan sharks that he owed money to. And then he ran out to China. Like, it's a pattern. He gambles. He gets into severe debt, and then he runs away to a different country, which is the same thing he did when he asked for divorce. When people are like, oh, it's her fault, like the fact that she stayed so long that he was the one that asked for divorce. And I'm just like, that wasn't what happened at all. She confronted him with something again that he did wrong, and he ran away. And then when everything came out, for me listening to him, I'm like, oh, so that's why he ran away. He didn't run away because of you. He ran away because everything was catching up to him, and he knew he wasn't going to have enough time to clean up his act. Even when she was texting him, he kept saying, I know I really fucked up. I know I messed up. I know I messed up. I know I fucked up. So he was doing his same pattern. When he gets caught, he runs away. When he knows, oh shit, I can't get out of this, he runs away. This man owed so many people money. And it's clear that Onyeka, she has a community of people that are also givers. Like, they give. And not only just that, but these people are in a very different tax bracket. They're upper middle class. Like, y'all in the comments talking about some, oh my God, can never be me. I can never give a man $50. And I was like, that's because y'all, and that's okay. But when you're in a different financial position, you can give freely. And it's clear that Onyeka and her people and her community and the people that she surrounded herself with, they had it like that. And so they gave it like that. He's just an addict who took advantage of their kindness. This is not her fault. Y'all are just bitches on this internet who don't have a giving spirit.
The Danish Deception is proof that everything is in fact about race. This beautiful Nigerian woman was scammed by a white man, a Danish white man. Her being Nigerian is very important because disproportionately across the country, across the globe, Nigerians are associated with fraudulent activity. I bring this particular point up because it is difficult for me to believe that if this man's name was Emeka, if this man's name was even Daryl, that he would have gotten away with the level of lies and deception that he got away with. And that brings me to my point about everything being about race. For some reason, this man was regarded as more trustworthy. And that calls into question why. Why is this man, this white man, blonde hair, blue eyes, by her description, trustworthy enough for ludicrous things coming out of his mouth to be believed? And some of you may be like, oh, no, I think love is really the main factor here. I would agree with you if when I searched her name and his name, first things that came up weren't those swirl pages that like have that kind of weird note towards swirl, not just like, oh, love is love, right? And these pages are not just featuring them, these are captions written by her, so she had to submit to these pages, right? There's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about why someone would be able to get away with scamming you and your family to that level and you trust them. That's not just love. Love is political in and of itself, to be clear. Love is political in and of itself. So who is afforded love, who is afforded trust, who is afforded fidelity is political in and of itself. I'm not about to argue with y'all on that, like read books about it, because that in and of itself is political. And that is what brings me to this particular lens of this topic.
So I came across the Danish Deception story, a girl sent it to me, and let me give you my advice coming from a legal background and things you can do to, first of all, protect yourself, but also the whole story pissed me off because if I take the legal out of it and just think rationally, I just don't understand how something like this can happen and why you didn't ask any questions and why you would offer up half of the things that she did. Again, no judgment, but still baffles me. Anyway, I'm so sorry, but if someone told me they are an Olympian, a royalty, and what else did he say? I don't even know what else he says. And then he asked for my passport. To me, that's fraud 101. One of those things has to be a lie. You're selling me a dream. Something is wrong. You're about to dupe me or you're about to use me. And that's just, for me, like basic how I would feel if someone did that to me. But if something like this happens to you and someone basically pretends that there's something that they're not in order to get to you or in order to get something from you, payments, passports, dates, whatever, then that's fraud. And to be more specific, that's Section 2 of the Fraud Act 2006. I think it's called, not misrepresentation, but something, let me just double check. It's called false representation. And if someone does this to you to get money from you, gifts from you, marriage, whatever, it's false representation. Misrepresentation comes in through business, and I kind of love misrepresentation. I love contract law, that's my bread and butter. But in this scenario, you can face up to 10 years in prison for this. 10 whole years in prison. The next part I'm gonna share, I think kind of does happen commonly, but a lot of people think, oh, it's my husband, it's my partner of XYZ years, so it doesn't really matter. But if somebody's asking you for your passport and basically taking it from you, it's like coercive control, and that's a whole thing, and I feel like it happens a lot. But again, let me break this down. First of all, ask yourself, why does somebody need your passport unless they're booking a trip or they need to, if they're buying you a car or whatever? And also, if they are, just ask yourself, why would they need your ID? And more specifically, why would they need your passport? Maybe it's the paranoia in me because I'm in the legal field and I get scared about things, but just, I don't care if you've been with this person 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 1 year, 2 years, your friend, like ask yourself these questions. Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky, because if the person is isolating you, controlling you, managing your finances, telling you what to do, telling you where you can't go, and also has your passport hostage, then it's coercive control. But again, it's really tricky to prove like coercive control without the person actually going through all of the rules. But I would say giving a passport to anybody, it's a red flag. I don't care who you are, like you don't need my identity documents, because you can falsely misrepresent anything because you're already lying about your identity. And coercive control comes under the Serious Crime Act in 2015, I believe. I don't know how many years you can go to prison for it, but I guess you need a lot of good evidence. Now let's move on to the money part. First of all, a guy asking a girl for money is insane, but I just don't understand how she was so comfortable sending, not even like £100, but like, anyway, no judgment here. But if this is something that happens to you, someone obtaining finances from you whilst obtaining it, lying to you and defrauding you and deceiving you, that's a whole thing under the fraud rules. This can also be when someone lies about their lifestyle and their career to obtain financial advantages from you. This comes under the Fraud Act. Like, you cannot lie about your, and I think it happens a lot as well, especially when you're getting married and you meet somebody and they've lied about what they do and how much money they earn and and you form a relationship and then you come to find out actually you make more money or they're using your money, or this all comes under the Fraud Act. If you feel like you're dealing with someone like this and you want to report them, you can actually report them to something called Action Fraud. It's anonymous, and I think they will get investigated for what they're doing. If you're already in a relationship with this person, if you're already married to this person, this is where it gets a bit tricky because you need evidence and things like that to prove what the claims that you're saying is true. Now this one is a bit more sensitive, and this is when someone is with you, dating you, talking to you for your visa purposes or for visa purposes or immigration purposes, which again comes under immigration fraud. And I think this happens really commonly, but people realize too late into the game that that's what they're being used for. And I think the first red flag is if he's lying to you in the relationship or whatever the stage you guys are, but you guys are trying to get married, and in order to get married, you're trying to sort out his visa and stuff, or even if he suggests it. I feel like the time you know it's a red flag is when the guy starts suggesting moving to your country and all of this stuff and trying to, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it's a red flag. And obviously the Home Office investigate these things, and this comes under marriage fraud if he's trying to, especially if he's trying to marry you quickly. And you can search how many years, if proven, you can go to prison for this, because it's again a lot of numbers of years. So moral of the story, don't give your passport to anybody. I don't care if it's your mom or your dad or anybody. If you're gonna give money to somebody, give money that you are not afraid of getting back. If he tells you he's royalty, a rapper, a rich businessman, CEO, Google is free. Company's House is free. I don't know what other countries have equivalent, but there's databases out there that you can use to find out stuff. Don't just believe what somebody's saying to you. I feel like you cannot be that naive in this world. People will dupe you and fraud you, and then you'll find yourself like this situation, making videos on TikTok about it. Another tip, if you're getting to know somebody and you want to know if they have a criminal record, there's a way to find out. I do this all the time. Again, it's the paranoia in me, but there is a way to find that stuff out. And the final thing is more common, like it's more basic advice, is if you are feeling uneasy about a situation like this, please speak to a friend of yours, because friends usually are there. They might like give you a little bit back and forth, but your friend at least will know from the beginning to the end what you've been going through. And again, that can be used as evidence if you ever need a witness statement, a testimony, that sort of thing. And keep all of your receipts, please. When someone's telling you this is what they do and this is where they're from, and things are not as they seem when you finally are with them. Anyway, that's my little bit of not so legal advice with me. I feel like this is really interesting, but it's also really sad. But I also feel like you cannot be that naive in this life. And yeah, that's all I can say. Bye.
OMG. I just finished watching The Danish Deception, and I have thoughts and notes. First of all, it means a lot that her name is Onyeka, but she's calling herself Onyeka. I'm so sorry. Like, there's no amount of Americanism that's gonna make you pronounce your whole name incorrectly. Like, it does tell about who you are. I'm not trying to come down on you, but I am saying it infers about who you are as a babe. Number one. Number two. Girl, I have been in a long distance relationship too. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain. My current husband told me he worked for one of the biggest tech companies in the world. You know? And I saw him go to the office every day. I saw him make, vlogs and all these special edition TV shows for his company, etc. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain, until I got to where he lived and looked at him sign into his portal, put on his headset, and talk his talk, I didn't believe him. So for the fact that you went so far as to believe him, to get married to him and didn't tell your parents, nah. Yeah, your man is a scammer. He's funny style, etc. But you two, you're funny style. I don't care. Girls, peep my tea. My man told me he works for one of the biggest tech companies in the world, one that you guys use every day. I saw him. I would see him walk into work. He would take pictures with his badge, all that. I didn't care. At the time, I was working for Google, so I said, listen, if he's lying, if he's, setting up a prop, if he's pushing a scheme set up by Todd, I'm going to take myself and get on out. You believed him on top of nothing. All this, I sent him money to send him money, auntie, kilo day. No. One thing's, okay, one thing that I always push on my page is there is some personal accountability that you need to have as a woman. When a man tells you, oh, baby, I'm so rich, you can be a housewife, you can be anything, and you see his quality of life increasingly and increasingly declining, know that what he told you was a lie and he's a liar. So you being grown, paying taxes, writing W-2s. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have that sympathy for you. I don't have that empathy for you. I'm not gonna lie. Because even me, your man and my man did it the exact same time frame. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain. I was watching that man. He had a LinkedIn. He had video footage of him at his company. He used to take pictures of him at his company. I didn't care. I didn't believe him until I saw him log in his credentials and work a whole 8-hour shift in my face. So, sorry, yo. I don't believe you. Number 3. No shade, no tea. You know, we love the heart wants what it wants. But it gave like you were just like in love with the tall white man. Girl, are we lying? Like, I swear, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm Nigerian. And Nigerian men, they do scam a little. I'm not gonna lie. They do love their little scam in 1 and 2. But I don't even feel like he had to scam you that hard. Everything he said, you believe. Everything he said, you believe. You believe or babe for real? Onyeka. Stop calling yourself Onika, Onyeki, Onyeka. You're not even gullible. You wanted to believe that stuff. You wanted to. Auntie, am I lying? Like, even just like drop all the steez. You wanted to believe the things he was telling you. You liked the way it looked when you guys would stand next to each other, Abby. It's okay. You never already casted yourself. Just cast yourself to the end. Because a man is an Olympian. A man has a royal family. A man owns all these apartment buildings. Girl, I used to work for Google. It's free. Free 99. It doesn't cost a thing. You played yourself. So like, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to, allow you put all this stuff on this man. You wanted that man. You wanted what it looked like. You wanted the fairy tale. You wanted it all. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a girl's girl. Like, I don't even want to side with a man, but you wanted what it looked like and you got the end results. Ladies, when a man tells you he can afford this and all of a sudden, after getting with you, he can afford less and less and less and less and less. What do you think that is? It's all a scheme set up by Todd. And in this big 2025, if you don't have that, inference, that common sense, that deference at this point, shall I dare say, you deserve to get scammed. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Love you, babe. You're so pretty, teasy peasy, too squeezy, but now you do yourself, bidat. He didn't even try hard. Sorry, okay? Okay. Bye, girls.
Danish Deception. The only thing deceptive is how the hell y'all taking all these trips. There's a trip in every part, a trip or two, in fact. Monaco, Paris, Broken Bow, Cartagena. What? Where y'all getting all this money from? Ain't now dollar in his account, but yet y'all catching flights. 34 cents in the account, but you in a villa somewhere. Catching flights and fraud charges, flights and tax bills. And you just soaking it up, believing every minute of it. And Crypto and Cryptisha, they better than me, because you'd have been hearing from my lawyer. How you catching all these flights and you owe me bread, 200 bands, and you in a villa, feet up? I ain't gonna lie, once somebody start having too many troubles, I'd be like, okay, you just, I ain't trying to have you rub off on me. Your daddy got cancer, your mama back broke, your back hurting, you done lost all your money, you getting this coming through, your insurance bill. No, you got too much going on right now. You need to figure that out. I don't want your woes to rub off on me. I'm gonna go and buy my...
Being a gold digger, Being a gold digger will save you from a lot of mess. Being a gold digger will save you from a lot of mess. What do you mean by a Danish boy scammed the Nigerian community? What do you people even mean? What do you, all of you, mean by a Danish boy from Denmark scammed the Nigerian community? It is because you are a pick-me. Yes. Male-centeredness. It is because you are a pick-me and a male-centered woman. You can't even beg the man. The friend told you about this man's gambling addiction. But what did you do? You wanted to save him. Savior. This man took money from your friend's husband. You had the effrontery to go on a trip with this man. Talking about, oh, the trip was already booked. It is friends like you. It is people like there is something about Nigerian women. I keep saying it. There is some trying to prove a point, trying to prove that you are a good person will destroy your life. Trying to prove that you are a good person, trying to prove that you are non-judgmental, trying to prove that you are a savior will destroy your life. Una not a hear word. You people don't listen. You don't listen. I know you are part of those women that used to abuse Shara 7. Oh, she's teaching women how to collect money from men. Oh, me, I'm going to build with my man. From the beginning of the wristwatch, I knew the man was fake. From the, what is it called? The apartment, the properties. I knew it was a scam. How you not take clock that tea? It is because you are desperate. Let us just say the way it is. It is desperation. It is desperation. Male-centeredness. I want to save him. Even when he took money from your friend's husband, you were not even angry that your husband will go behind your back to conduct a business with your friend's husband. You did not see anything wrong in that. Okay, now we're done.
Am I proud of this content? Of course I am. I spoke eloquently, I made sense, and I was real. Girl, Onyeka, like, it's okay just to say, you know what, guys, I was a little dumb. That was dumb of me. That's what actually like connects people to people on the internet. That's what made Risa Tisa so likable and gave her a career after this. Be so for real, girl. You know, a little bit of you like the fact that, and hope I'm not overly clocking your tea right now. I'll hold your hand when I say this. We all saw your Instagram, you know, we all see you at the end of all the photos with all your white friends. I'm sure it gave you an ego boost, you know, a social bump when you came in with this tall Danish white man that went to Europe with you in Kenwa. Now you're feeling, you know, more accepted by your white friends. Now you're feeling like, you know, your white friends are feeling like your husband is hot. Let's talk the real reality things now. It's okay to feel like that. Like, that's not an issue, but don't act like, oh my gosh. Really? Only one man. His dog is this. His apartments are flooding. They're catching on fire. This one. The IRS is taking his money. He's going to court here. Like, auntie, even you too. You're a Nigerian girl from Dallas that goes to the village. Be so for real. You know you enjoyed a bit of the tease, and that's a part of the reason why you kept it running for so long. And a part of the reason why you didn't even leave him. He had to leave you. Like, sis, I'm not even trying to, like, you know, jump on you. I'm just more saying, if you're going to come with this long story, be for real. I also am a Nigerian American girl raised and socialized around white people. Okay, I went to private schools my whole life. But this kind of talk, all this, I came here to spread awareness. Like, okay, but be so for real. Like, be for real. You didn't like the way the internet is doing what the internet does. But at the end of the day, the internet is comprised of a body of people, just like a jury that has common sense, you know? And we're gonna, you know, investigate the facts of the case. And the facts of the case remain that, girl, cognitive dissonance day. Just admit it. Be like, you know what, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, this was a little dumb. Like, yeah, it was actually a little dumb. I enjoyed the social boost. I wanted to be married. I wanted to be, I hang around white people. I wanted to, you know, be associated with white people. It's okay. Nobody's gonna beat you up. But pretending like you're this perfect victim is corny. That's just the thing. So thank you for the paragraph. Yes, I am very proud of my content. I give it up to peasy, squeezy, to leasy. One thing about me and my content, girl, watch my big fat Nigerian wedding, watch Tea with Chi TV, watch Chiato. I really do. I gives it up heavy. But yeah, just like be honest with yourself. You liked it. And that's how you entered it. Pomquem. Okay? Okay. Bye, girl.
I just finished watching the Danish Deception and I am mad. And I am angry because first of all, this man takes you to Monaco and he tells you to pick anything, and with all the designer bags and whatever that you could pick, you picked a $200 bag because you do not want him to see you as, what do you call it, as one of those girls. What is wrong with one of those girls? I am one of those girls. I am one of those girls. If a man takes me and tells me, baby, I will shop till I drop. And even when I have dropped, I'm still picking and putting it in the drop with me. Good girl does not pay. How many times have I need to come out of retirement. I need to come out of retirement. Because how many times have I told you all the whole good girl thing will not pay. It will not take you nowhere rather than have you being scammed and used. Honey, you have to stress this man and men out. Financially, physically, emotionally, all of it. All of it. I am so pissed. And then the thing that is upsetting me is, Onika, you are a Nigerian woman. You are an African woman. Honey, as an African woman, we are born with, it's in our DNA to chop money. It's in our DNA to eat money. It's in our DNA to spend a man's money. Matter of fact, in all the African lullabies our mothers sing to us, it is spend that man's money. Onika, you let an Oyibo man come and do to you what they did to our ancestors in 2025. You let an Oyibo man, you let an Oyibo man, hey, you have taken us back. You have taken us back very far. Bye-bye.
I'm only on part 11, but if that man was black or a minority, she would have not trusted him as much as she did. If that man was Nigerian, like she is, she would not have trusted him as much as she does. She trusts that man with $32,000 US because he's white.
The girl in the Danish Deception showed that she was a red flag first, which is the reason why a lot of that shit ended up happening to her. And you're probably thinking, like, that's victim blaming. What are you talking about? She said two key things before this man even showed a red flag, that she was indeed the red flag.
Basically said, you know, aside from being a good cook, she checks off every single box. And I remember I looked at him, my ex, and I said, but I will become a great cook for a good man. And he starts laughing. I remember I put my hand on his leg, and that was the first time in my life that I felt that instant electricity from someone's touch. Like, it literally felt like I was getting shocked. And we instantly like had this physical attraction towards each other. And we started talking about what we did for work. And I told him that I was working as a real estate agent and in tech. And then he told me, I'm actually chief commercial officer for an ad tech company that does marketing for, and he tells me, you can pick out whatever you want to buy, you can get it. So we're going to like Cartier, we're going to Chanel, we go to Dior. I see this yellow bag I fall in love with, but I felt so uncomfortable because I don't want this man to think that I'm with him for his money. And I didn't want him to feel like I was using him. So I remember just being like, oh, it's okay. Like, I love this purse, but I was like, it's just okay. And we end up going to Dolce & Gabbana, and I pick out this nice pair of $200 sunglasses. And he looks at me, he goes, dang, you're cheap. And I said, I'm a simple girl, even though I wanted the Dior bag. But I wanted him to know that I was there for the right reasons. Oh my gosh, bachelor trauma.
Now, she wasn't the red flag to the man in the situation. She was a red flag to herself. You cannot prove that you're a green flag to a man while simultaneously being a green flag to yourself. She was the red flag to herself in this situation. Prior to her saying these two things, that man did not show a single red flag. I mean, I would say maybe him liking all of her Instagram things could have been a red flag. I mean, I would say that was probably the first thing that happen that could be, potentially considered a red flag. But the reason why so many women miss red flags is because women are trying to prove to men how good of a target you are. When men are talking about things like they want a woman that'll cook, that'll clean, that'll be sacrificial, they're trying to tell women that they want you to prove to them that you're a good target for them to use and manipulate. This is the reason why the simp culture gets demonized by men. Because men that don't consider themselves to be simps don't like the idea that there are men out here that are willfully considering themselves good targets by leading with their money or wanting to provide or wanting to be generous to women. Because in a man's eyes, that makes you a target for gold diggers. Why would I lead with money, and why would I try to prove to a woman how much money it is that I'm willing to spend on her when that will make me a good target in order for her to use me? Because it's a projection. Because that's what they're doing. They're the ones that are over here seeking out how much you're willing to sacrifice, how much you're willing to give up to prove to them that you're the green flag. All they need to do is hear you mention that you're going to change one thing about yourself in order to give them a chance or in order to keep them around. Once you do that, they know that they got you. Once you try to prove to them that, hey, I'm different, or I don't do this, but I'll make a concession for you, you're an exception, they already know that they got this shit in the bag because you've allowed yourself to now be a target because you're trying to lead with how great I am, how much of a green flag that I am, when in reality, you're now becoming the red flag to yourself. Men understand the emotional investment it takes for a woman to get outside of herself to do things for a man that she typically would not do. They understand that there is a large amount of risk that goes into that. And so when you prove to them like, oh shit, she was willing to make the emotional investment to want to give me money, to want to travel back and forth, to see me, to want to make all of these exceptions for me, she's not going to back out now because she's already made the emotional and then later on financial investment into me. They already know that at this point, you've already did something that you did not really want to do in the first place, or that you felt like if I do this, I'm going to get a big benefit out of this. This is why men have to sell you these dreams and make these promises saying that, well, I know you don't want to do it, but if you do it, this is what's going to happen. So that's why he was able to get all these large amounts of money from her, because he kept promising her, you're going to get a return on your investment. You're going to get a return on your investment. And she already was acknowledging the fact that she was willing to do that when she said that she would be willing to cook for him, even though she doesn't cook. Because in her brain, the investment that she would be making by learning how to cook and cooking for a man, she's gonna get a man that she is sexually attracted to, that claims that he's an Olympian and he's into crypto and he comes from a royal family. That's gonna be her reward if she decides to make all of these sacrifices. The reward is false. The reward is fake. The reward is never real. And she knew it wasn't real. That's the reason why she didn't just use a simple Google search to look for the Olympians. It's super easy to see who's on an Olympic team. It's going to list out every single person. It's even going to list out the alternates of any Olympian. Not to mention, just knowing male nature, you should already know that with how boastful, with how prideful, and how ego-driven men are not giving a gold medal to their mom. They're not giving a gold medal to their grandmother. They're going to have that gold medal encased in something and have it smack dab at the very, very front of their home when you walk in, because they want everybody to know that they were in the Olympics. So that doesn't make sense. She even told this man that she loved him first. Another red flag, proving to this man she's making heavy emotional investments. Men know that a woman's emotional investments is like a man's financial investments. The more a man financially pours into a woman, the harder it's going to be for him to back out of dealing with a woman. The more a woman pours into a man emotionally, he understands that it's going to be very hard for her to back out. That's the reason why she didn't Google anything. That's the reason why she didn't look up anything. Because women are cowards, okay? Women are cowards when it comes to wanting to come to the realization that they've been played or that they've been fooled. Women rather keep lying to themselves and be in delusion and la la land and just like not face the truth head on. That way they could sit here on the internet and say like, oh, this guy betrayed me, this guy did this, which is the reason why there are so many women saying that you missed all these red flags. Well, of course she missed all these red flags because she's too busy trying to present herself as the perfect target to a man. You're going to miss every single red flag when you're trying to prove to a man, I'm a good target. You can get all the money that you want from me. You can use me and I'm going to cheapen myself down for you. I mean, she literally refused to vocalize the fact that she wanted, I think, like a Dior bag. She literally neglected her needs because she didn't want to come off like she was a gold digger. Further signaling to this man that she is willing to betray what her own wants and needs are because she likes me so much. You're a good target. You're a very, very good target when someone wants to gain something from you because they understand if you're going to cheapen yourself for me, what else are you willing to do for me? That's how she got down this rabbit hole of giving money and giving money and giving money. Because just with that sentence alone, I'm going to cook for a man, you know, even though I don't know how to cook, I'm going to cook for the special man. Well, then of course he's going to become the special man because you've already made it clear I'm willing to make concessions for a man that I'm attracted to. And you made it very clear that you're attracted to him. The less time you spend trying to make yourself a target to a man, the clearer the red flags are going to be. You cannot simultaneously look for red flags while you're agreeing to prove how much of a green flag you are to a man.
The Danish Deception guy, yeah, I've met him. Let's get into it. So I've already done a story time about this on my Danish account, but y'all keep asking about it in English. I thought I would post it on my English speaking account. So basically, I met him a couple of years ago when he was dating a very close friend of mine. In the beginning, when I was watching her videos, I did not know that it was him, okay? I was just following because she knew how to tell a story and it was super juicy. And you guys, everybody was hooked. Hello. So imagine my surprise when my friend writes in the group chat that this is the guy and she dated him. And I go, wait a minute, I met him when you guys were dating. People who do not know me, I grew up in Denmark, so everything about this is happening in Denmark. So when I met him, he was very charming, very nice, nothing negative to say about him. And also, like, I'm strict, but my friend is much more stricter. So I knew if she introduced me to this man that he must have been a really good man. Not only is this guy a scammer, he's also a cheater because he was seeing my friend, his now ex-wife, and his ex all around the same time. Like, there's an overlap. And yes, he was out there selling everybody a dream. I'm not going to go into detail about the relationship that he had with my close friend, but what I can say is that this man did not come for any royalty. Okay, his last name is such a basic-ass fucking Danish name. He was not in the Olympic. He did not come from a well-off family. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but let's keep it a buck. And thankfully, my friend never gave him any money. Okay, thank God for that. And I feel like a lot of people should give Onyeka some grace because obviously if he could scam her, her family, her friends, and scam across the whole world, then obviously he's a fucking good scammer, guys. Come on now. And let this be a lesson for every girl out there. Do not give man any money, okay? Not in this economy and not in the next. Thank you.